Hey, what's up, everyone? So recently I wrote an appreciation email for someone and it was not very satisfactory. Then I went to Claude and I asked it to write it, and that was full of dribble. It was not good at all. And in general, I've never had success uh, with these LLMs to write these type of things. And I wondered that this is obviously because it does not have enough context. And if you could give it a lot of examples of what you have written in the past, then it will do a better job. But then how do you do that? It's not really very practical to give it all of those custom instructions and hope for it to work. And then another thing that recently we've been talking about is the use of agentic AI in code and how well it understands the code repo. So it occurred to me that something like Claude Code, which is agentic AI for code, this should in theory actually work very well for a repo with documentation. Because I mean, in theory at least, I think documentation, reading docs should be a lot easier than reading code. And then you could really have a lot of use cases for this. So I started off with a simple use case, which is I said that, hey, can I take Claude Code, which is agentic AI for ostensibly code, but you can use it anywhere, and train it on a repo which has appreciation notes that I have written, and then would it write a good enough note for me that I'm not embarrassed to send it out to anyone. And if that works, then you could really extend it out to a lot of different use cases, one of which I have in mind. I'll share it with you at the end of this video. But let's see how you do that. So on my terminal, I have Claude. I just have a terminal open, and I already have Claude installed in this Claude Code. This is very simple. I will not go through that in this video, but I will link to it on how you can do it. So quite simply, to activate it, you have to go to your working directory and then type Claude, and then it just starts up. And typically what it would do is it would initiate, the first thing that you would do is initiate a claude.md file, which is sort of the instructions file for this repo. So now the thing will create this on its own. You don't need to do that. So I have already had this created for this, and you can see that it explains that this is a repo containing professional appreciation emails written in markdown format, talks about what file structure to follow, clear subject line, professional greeting, etc., and then content guidelines. So it learned from what I had written previously. I have 3 examples in this repo. And then it said that, hey, this is normally what he does when he writes these type of notes. And then I went in and I edited that somewhat. I said brief, should not be more than 500 characters. And I saw it signing off with the best Banshu. I never do that. So I said, okay, always regards Banshu, and then clarify with me. So ask what things I want to recognize the person and then write. So let's see, how well it works. So can you write, or can you please write? I always include please for when these things become our overlords. An appreciation email for, let's say, Gukesh. All of my friends know my passion for chess. Let's see what it does. So imagine it should ask me a few questions on what I want to appreciate them for and those type of things. Okay, what specific things would you like? Let's say, he played a great world championship chess game. What's hard soft skills? I mean, he played very well under pressure. He kept calm. So if any of you are chess fans, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And are there any particular achievements or contributions that had significant business impact? Okay, so he inspired a generation of young chess fans. Now, as I was thinking about making this video, this is not the example that I had in mind. I had something completely different in mind, more business-like and all that. But then I just can't help myself sometimes. So let's see. I mean, it's going to be interesting. Philosophizing, yeah, that's another interesting thing it does. All of these things that you see in red, they are always different, or if different a lot of times. And here, so it has come up with an email that I would write to the current world chess champion. Kesh, congratulations on your outstanding World Championship performance. Diego Kesh, exceptional performance in the World Championship match was truly remarkable. The way you maintained composure under immense pressure while executing brilliant strategic moves demonstrated extraordinary mental fortitude and tactical mastery. Tactical mastery, so that's a chess term. Calm demeanor throughout the high stakes competition not only showcased your professional maturity but also inspired countless young chess enthusiasts worldwide. Grace and determination you displayed have become a beacon for the next generation of players. Thank you for representing excellence in competitive chess and for being such a positive role. So this, I feel like I could send this out. I mean, if I send this out, I would make some edits, but it is not some of the things that I've seen very cringy and all that. Interestingly, it said warm regards, so I said just say regards, but it said warm regards, so I don't know what's going on there, but that's fine, I can change it. So you can see in this small example that it actually, Claude Code or agentic AI for code does work with documentation. And if you are watching this and you are still watching this, probably your gears are turning in your mind and what else you can use this for. One thing that immediately comes to mind is I've had this discussion a lot of times with a lot of people now, is that what about user stories? I mean, how can we improve the quality of user stories in a way that it learns from what we have written? And people who have had some success with this, one of the things that they have done is given the things that they have written as examples, and then the LLM sort of sees what they do and does a better job than what it does without that. But just looking at that, you can imagine that documentation as code has been a concept forever now. So you can imagine that you have a Git repo which is all of your user stories. So you can have a repo with the code, and you can have in the same repo all the user stories that describe the code. So this is written in the style of maybe 1, 2, 3 TPMs. And now this agentic AI not only knows your repo of code, but it knows what user stories you have and the style that you write them in. It knows all the requirements basically. So in theory, at least, that should work a lot better than just asking LLM to write a user story in isolation. And this is just one business case. I mean, I'm sure you can think of many more. But really, I have not really heard a lot of folks talking about using Claude Code or similar things for working with documentation. And I think there's a lot of scope here. So I hope some of this resonates with you. And if you have some questions, please leave a comment, ask any questions. I'll answer to the best of my ability. And if you have any examples on how you would like or you think you could use Claude Code, similar things for documentation, please drop a comment. I'm really very curious to learn from you. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching and hope you have a great rest of the day. Thanks.